another episode of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a show made by 12s from around the world for 12s from around the world. I'm Mosette, and here's your host, and my dad, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, I am your self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity, and welcome, one and all, to episode 1202 of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show as the Seattle Seahawks look back on the 2024 NFL Draft picks. So do yourself a favor, grab a desired scent or beverage of your choice, put your tray table up and your seat in the full upright position, leave your arms and legs inside the podcast at all times. And what can I tell you? The Falcons are already on the clock for 2025, apparently. So, while we're looking over from a couple weeks ago, we had our pre-draft episode. This is our post-draft episode, same posse from 2 weeks ago. So we'll start by looking over there at Dustin. Hi, Dustin. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Is that our 12-Man Fan Jam Show mascot, Kona?
Up. Hugs, Kona. Hugs.
Oh, the big sweetie. There's Kona. There's a big girl.
She just walked in. I don't know. Lindsay must have let her in. Up.
Oh, yeah, big sweetie. That's her. That's our 12-Man Fan Jam Show mascot. Things going well, Dustin?
Yeah. Actually, really well. So
good.
I think most everybody knows that my son Connor was in Kuwait. Since last October. He got back from Kuwait about 2 weeks ago. And then he's on leave now, and Lindsay and I went and picked him up from SeaTac last night. So he's actually in the house. Yeah, so he's hanging out with us for the next couple of weeks.
That's very cool. Very cool. Well, thank him for our service, his service, and you and Lindsay
took
as
Kona
well.
with us. Kona, it's about a 2.5 hour trip now to head over to SeaTac.
Oh, wow.
And actually, Kona made the trip with us and hung out and cuddled him in the back seat the whole way home. So he was pretty happy.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. Good to hear. Good stuff. Well, I hope he has a great 2 weeks with you guys. I know he will.
Yeah.
Someone else who's had a great 2 weeks, hopefully, is Will. Hi, Will.
Hi, Moses. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. Just work and shoot. No, go away. Get out of here.
What's wrong? What's going on?
Sorry, that damn zebra keeps showing up in my yard.
We need to get the zebra on this podcast. I don't know. Somebody needs to find that zebra, put him on this podcast. There's no doubt about it.
Runaway zebra.
Yeah, runaway zebra.
That is a fun story. Chris and Brian, did you hear about that?
No.
So there was on I think it was I-90. A dude was driving. He had like 4 zebras in the back of his trailer.
Because Seattle.
Yeah, he had to, I'm
Who does
it?
Really?
Yeah, I know. I'm assuming he was transporting him to a zoo or something. I didn't get the whole story, but he had to stop and fix something on his truck. And while he was doing that, the zebras escaped.
So that's why all the zebras were
That's
on
what
the
the zebra thing is. Yeah.
Yep. So
Nice.
4 of them escaped. 3 of them have been caught. We're still missing 1.
I think he might show up on the show. Not tonight, but sometime.
Yeah.
We might have the zebra on this show. I could just see it now.
It's taken off pretty awesome on social media.
It really has. It really has. Now that I know the whole story too, we'll have something with that. Anyway, someone who has something in his hands. There's Lil Mo. Hi, Lil Mo.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Who you got there?
Dude.
His dude.
Aww.
He's a handsome boy. He's a big sweetie.
Who's a good boy?
He's a good boy. Dude's a good boy. Oh, he's a sweetie. And we have 2 returners from last show. First is Chris Baldy from England. Chris, welcome back.
Good morning, Moses. How are you?
Okay, well, you told us you got to go to work in about 7 hours, so we're going to try to get you because it's a little late, a little early over there.
I'm putting no effort into that whatsoever.
It is a little early, but we'll get there. We'll get through this and everything.
We'll get you through there. So welcome back.
Yep.
And also, of course, Brian McCauley. Brian, welcome back.
Hello.
We'll talk about our challenge here in a minute. Who you got with you?
This is my son Matthew.
Hi, Matthew.
Matthew.
Enjoying himself with his Golden Knights jersey and waiting for them to play in the playoffs.
All right. Good stuff. Well, we'll
Matt,
get
put on
everybody
the-
where they need to be here. But before we do that, let's talk about how this show is going to be run.
Okay.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
The 12-man
Not
fan
much.
jam show
Well,
format. 4 quarters and a halftime, just like a real NFL game. In quarter one, my yays and boos from the draft, the things that I noticed during the draft, draft weekend last weekend, and also the draft challenge winners get to give us their script. Chris and Brian both have something. I gave it to both of them. I'll explain that when we get there. And then we do the draft picks. Quarter two, we'll talk about our first and third round pick. Of course, halftime is the best Seahawk themed trivia game on the internet. Halftime, 12-man fan jam show halftime trivia
Of the world.
Yeah, something like that, Dustin, right? And Brian won in overtime last week, so we'll see if he can defend his title. Quarter 3 and 4, we go back to the draft picks. We'll spend quarter 3 talking about our 4th and 5th round picks, and then our undrafted free agents in round 6 in quarter 4. So we want to remind you that we are all over the interwebs, so to speak, like a bad rash. If you are on X, or some of us still call it Twitter, you can find us at 12-man fan jam show on there. If you're looking for us on TikTok, and we're going to have some TikTok things put up pretty soon, 12-man fan jam show. I try to put some clips up on TikTok, just little short clips of the show that are kind of amusing, just to get us out there. And there's be some outtakes on there as well coming up. If you're looking to join us on Facebook, please do. It's a 12-man fan jam show Facebook page. We do game day threads every game day, and when the Seahawks are playing, we put polls up, we put some pictures up, we caption pictures, we have a good time. So look forward to joining us there. Don't cost nothing. And you can email us if you have a question of any kind at 12manfanjamshow@gmail.com. And by the way, you're watching this on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel. You can get on there and look at older shows, outtakes, and some specials we've done. I will do another schedule release special as well. So before we do anything else, I think it's time to look back on the 24 NFL draft. And before we look back on the Seahawks in particular, I would like to look back on my personal reflections and have some yays and boos from the draft. All right, Moses' yays and boos. These are, I see some, I go, I like that, I didn't like that. So, and we'll see if you guys agree or not. First, we'll start obviously with a yay. For me, the rookies dress very well this draft. I thought the boys look sharp. I don't know, they look like a boy band right there. What do you want to say? They look good. That's a yay. The boo is
sharp dressed man.
Why are we wearing these oversized freaking hats? What is that about? All these big old hats, and the dude, people wearing stuff this high over their head. Some of those guys had like Lombardi rings that were like this big, and they're wearing. We don't need that.
They had like a full lion, like
yeah, over top of the head.
Fans?
Oh, it's too much stuff on your head. There are people sitting behind you. Yay to Eminem opening the draft. I didn't think they would get him. He's a big Lion fan. I thought that was very cool. Really enjoyed that. He was there, right? But here's what I want to know. Where was JJ McCarthy? They brought the whole Michigan team up. He's in Michigan. He's in Detroit. He's going to be a first-round pick. Where was he? Why was he not there? Speaking of Michigan, thumbs up to Rich Eisen absolutely going off when Michigan got picked back to back. And all the Michigan players. I love to see that. That's a lot of fun to watch. So seeing Rich Eisen lose his mind over Michigan picks was a yay. The boo was watching the Seahawk fans lose their mind when Penix came off the board at number 8, which we'll talk about that later. But
sigh of relief for me.
Yeah, sigh of relief was held in this house, but a lot of people were like this guy over here.
Your house.
Yeah.
Huge
yay to Detroit. It can clean itself up and look pretty decent. 775,000 people in 3 days.
Insane.
It's amazing. But here's my boo. If you're way in the back, what's the point? You go and watch it on TV. I mean, if you're this far back, do you really feel like you're part of the draft? I mean, come on.
I'm never a part of the draft.
I get in the middle of all those people, and then it's like, oh crap, I gotta pee.
Exactly. Like you're this far back, and you're like, yay, draft. I could be home watching it.
Yeah. And if it's anything like the Super Bowl parade for the Seahawks, they got like 5 porta potties for 1 million people in the area. So
Exactly.
horrible.
Exactly. And the last one is yay for having the international fans give the draft pick out. And present company excluded on this one. The boo is, quite frankly, the Seahawks got the wrong guy. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris, no offense, but and Andy, no offense from Canada, but they clearly got the wrong international fan for the Seahawks. So, Maddie, you should have gotten it. So, anyway,
That'd been fun.
that was some
That'd been
yays
so
and
fun.
boos, and now we're going to go to the draft challenge points. We had a draft challenge. If you picked a player in the round he was picked in a position, you got 5 points. In the round, you got 3 points. If you picked a player and it wasn't the same round, you got a point. And it was interesting this year. Little Mo, goose egg. Will, goose egg.
Woohoo!
Me, goose egg. Then it got interesting.
Why couldn't they have drafted Storm Duck? Really?
I know. Storm Duck. Why not? Chris Balding got 2 players, so he got a point for each one. And of course, Brian, our first round pick, if he had not done a trade, he would have got 5 points. Got 3 points with Murphy. So Brian won, but Chris got 2 players. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to let them both do something. So Brian, I'll let you go first since you're in first place. And then Chris has got a little game for all of us. So go ahead, Brian. Tell us what you learned.
Well, this is where I learned. I'm an idiot. I'll start that off right at the bat. Every time I go into a draft and I'm predicting a draft, I'm looking at it, but I'm also putting my spin on it. And it's like I'm not thinking about what the GM's trying to do.
Sure.
So, I got lucky with Byron Murphy, and I didn't realize he was their number 1 defensive player. And I didn't realize that they had 4 options to move back.
Mm-hmm.
But every one of them I looked at was like 19. We're going to lose Byron Murphy to LA.
Yeah.
That's why they stayed. So
Right.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
14 offensive players coming off the board in the first 14 picks. Insane.
That was insane.
But, looking at certain players and after looking at all the stuff that what they did and how they did it, I'll talk about that individually.
Mm-hmm.
But I learned that I'm not paying attention to everybody down the list.
Uh-huh.
So, like Tyrese Knight, even though he came in for a 30, even though they met him, they talked to him at the Senior Bowl. I didn't think he was a draftable prospect for Seattle, and then all of a sudden, surprise, and then I see why.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I consider myself an idiot for that one.
Nah, don't consider that. Not at all. I think anyone can predict the weather. And, it's like predicting the weather. You can predict the weather. And when you're done, you go, well, I just thought that's what they would do. I mean, nobody knows what they're going to do. That's why they're there and we're here. But, not an idiot.
Especially on a season where we switch coaches and we don't know what the team's going to look like.
Because no one knows what he was going to do.
Yeah.
And a draft class where you get outside of the top several picks, and there really wasn't much consensus as to where players were.
Actually,
and all the GMs decided they wanted to. Oh, go ahead.
I had the first 7 picks correct.
Yeah.
Right in order. And then when Penix came off the board, wow.
Yeah. Wow's right.
They threw everything.
Anybody who predicted that one, I want to go to Vegas with them.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So thank you, Brian. And now it's Chris's time. And Chris has a little thing called Chris Balding says, call that city. All right, here's how we do call that city. Chris sent me a list of city names. Are these all in England, Chris?
They're all in the UK.
Okay.
The last one is definitely not in England, I can tell you that much.
Okay.
Oh,
So
no,
I didn't take all of them, but I took some of them. So we can give ourselves like 10 seconds to try to pronounce these cities, and then Chris will tell us how to do it, all right?
Shit.
Here we go. All right, here's the first one.
We said Dustin do
That's
it all.
my favorite sauce, Worcestershire.
We'll
Anybody
shake
else?
the sauce.
Hold on. Apparently, I don't have that second screen up. Give me a second here.
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire. It's Worcestershire, probably.
Worcestershire.
It's
Shalom
A1.
ding dong.
Warshire. How about Warshire?
All right, what do you got, Chris?
It's Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
That's what I said.
Yep.
That's close. All right, Worcestershire. Next
We
one,
have
I have the utmost respect for people who are Bicesters, so I'm going with Bicester.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
None wrong with that at all. I'm going with Bicester. Anybody else?
It's
I'll
Bye,
go
Sherry.
with-
Hi, Sheer.
I booked the English language as is, so I'm not even trying.
You don't have to spell it, Brian.
it's Bicester.
Bister.
Oh, I got it.
Look at that.
Bicester.
Bister.
That's not
Yep.
real.
Now that has to be Southwell.
Southwell.
Then you have to say it with like an act like Southwell or something. like that.
Whale.
I don't know how. I
Wrong,
don't know how you say
wrong accent, doesn't it? It's Southall.
Southwell.
Southall.
That's not real.
Subtle?
W.
It's not
Remember,
subtle.
silent W.
Happisburg.
Habsburg.
Bro.
So this one is literally about not 2 miles, about 10 miles down the road from me. It's actually pronounced Haysborough.
There's no Z in there.
Where'd the peas go?
Double
Chris-
P's or
Chris,
silent
there
in
you-
England.
Two P's
Chris.
make a Z.
That's
There
like
are
when
11
two L's
letters
make a
here.
Y
You're
in
only getting
Spanish.
5 of them.
Who knew? Wow, you English
Peas
people are
make a
weird.
Z.
Yeah.
Mundesley.
Munsley.
Munsley.
It's Munsley. It is Munsley. The
Munsley.
D
Very
is,
good.
the D is silent.
Very
Again, that's only
good.
literally just down the road from us. So
Dorchester.
Circumcised.
What'd you say? Circumcised.
Sir.
Where's that city? It's right off the tip over there.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm gonna say like half the letters in the middle are not pronounced. I'm gonna say Sister.
It's like, oh, Chris?
you kind of guys. It's Cirencester.
Cirencester. Okay, that one at least
Okay, why
I
do
can
you
see.
pronounce that whole thing, but you do 5 letters in Habsburg?
Exactly. And you put a Z in there.
And then you call us bad at English.
Ruslip.
We stole it from you.
Ruslip.
Ruslip?
Ricelip.
Ricelip. Silly us. We were thinking of the U.
But the U is silent.
Yeah.
In that one.
Chiswick.
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 Chetwick.
Worcestershire.
No,
Yeah.
the H is silent in this one, so it's Chiswick.
Chiswick. There's no W.
No, the H and the W are silent.
The H and the W are silent on this one.
Slough.
How does that make sense?
Sloth.
Slow.
Sloth.
I'm assuming most
Sloth. I
of the
love the
letters
Goonies.
most of the letters are silent. I'm gonna call it G.
Chris?
It's Slough.
Slough. Like plow. Yeah.
Yep.
We got a few more here.
Lamborghini.
Loughborough.
Labro?
Loughborough.
Loughborough.
No.
Loughborough.
Loughborough. Very famous for its sporting university. A lot of stuff.
Finger
Bing
hoe.
wing ho.
Fingering hoe.
Yeah,
Fingering
that's right.
hoe.
Actually, it is fingering.
Not
hoe.
so much a city as a position.
It is fingering hoe.
Fingering hoe.
I may have to emigrate. I don't know.
Ironically,
That's
this
all.
is city is called Cunnilingus. No, Chris, what do you got?
How many posts?
It
How
is
many pounds is
fingering hoe.
that?
It is fingering hoe on this one.
It is fingering hoe. Okay.
Yeah.
We got that one. Oh, I know people that live here.
Yeah, Bitchfield.
I know people who run Bitchfield.
Mitchfield. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I just-
Bitchfield.
Yep.
Their first name's Karen.
Okay, now you're just showing off.
Often
I'm
a
gonna say
choice given. Cockermouth.
Cockermouth.
It's Cockermouth.
Cockermouth.
Move.
Yeah.
Oh, like it's
Yeah.
like
Cockermouth.
vermouth. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
smooth.
Oh, I got a mooth once kissed my sister.
Thank you very much. Spider on the wall.
Women.
I love a good Wyndham hand.
No, Wyndham Ham.
Gonna love this one. It's Wyndham.
Just Wyndham.
What's half of the
The
letter?
ham is silent.
Yeah.
Where's the Mo is silent. You silenced little Mo.
Silent ham.
Huh.
Lane doesn't know.
So I'm gonna assume
I
this
got
one
nothing.
is. I'm gonna assume this one has to do with Spanish. Maybe
Well-
settled that place first, so it's
What was this? Did
John
you type
would know.
this one in backwards?
John dude no.
This one is because this one is actually from Wales, so it's Calandar. No,
Land.
The frack?
Take mouth.
What?
Tinmouth?
Ten
Ricky
mouth, yeah.
Tegan mouth.
Tigmouth.
Timoth.
Tigmouth.
Tigmouth. Oh yeah. Oh, there's a G there. Yeah, we'll pronounce the G because we don't pronounce anything else. Beauvoir.
Before. Whatever that's
I'm
from.
just gonna go
This
straight up.
one will
Belvoir.
get this one. This one always catch. This one even catches me out. It's actually beaver.
Beaver.
Nice,
Yeah,
beaver.
It's beaver.
That's no beaver I've
But
ever
it's
seen.
pronounced. Yeah, you
just had it stuck.
I was actually racing there last year at Spartan Race, but it's Beaver Castle is where it is. So
There's a whole beaver
How
track, is
old
there?
is that road?
Huh. That's
It's a fun.
Somebody is a. Wait a minute.
Ooh.
Somebody's the mayor of Beaver. I'm just okay. We'll move on. Habois.
Hot boys. Hot boys.
Hot boys. Hot boys. That's an old Duran Duran song.
House.
No, not gonna even try.
So
The
again, this
rapper,
is
actually.
this is
The
another
rapper.
Norfolk one. So it's actually pronounced Hobbis.
Of course
No,
it
it's
is.
No, it's not.
Now this last one.
Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it be? Here's the last one.
Is it 40 letters?
Holy shit!
I've actually seen this on a YouTube video.
I'm
and
gonna
it's
try
in
it.
Wales.
I'm gonna try it.
Land
Landfair, we can need Gurgure, Chermano, Wawa, Anti-Silla, Go-Go Goods.
I'm not even going to try and pronounce this one.
No, I wanna
but
hear it.
Look it up on YouTube. There is a
Where-
Welsh.
You gotta do it.
Okay, Chris, where the hell is that?
It's in northern Wales.
It's in Northern Wales.
Nice job,
Um,
Brian.
There's actually a
And the
YouTube video, and I have
Yeah,
seen
got-
Hey Brian, can you
There's
spell
a-
it for us?
There is a
it.
Welsh.
No.
There is a Welsh weather forecaster who actually does it live on telly. So yeah,
I
just look it
saw
up on
that guy.
YouTube.
He was on
Oh,
YouTube.
I've
Yep.
seen that before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
All
great
right.
to watch. But
Yeah.
there we go.
Awesome, man. That was a lot of fun.
Why I saw it, 'cause the only reason I saw it was because there was a 32-letter Canadian town, and they
Jesus.
said, "No, this is even worse."
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Good job, Chris and Brian. And that will end the first quarter.
That's the end of the first quarter, bitches!
All right. From here on out, we're going to talk about what the Seahawks did in the 2024 NFL Draft. We've got trivia coming up. We've got draft picks galore, but next period we talk about the first and third round picks of the Seahawks. This is the 12-man Fan Jam Show. Why not? Don't cost nothing. We'll be right back after this.
You are watching the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a Seahawk Positivity production.
I like it.
It's the second quarter.
Welcome back to the second quarter of your 12-man Fan Jam Show, the 2024 NFL Draft Postdraft Edition. And we're about to talk about the draft picks the Seahawks had. Seahawks had a number of picks. They wound up winding up with 8 picks this time. And the first pick was a guy named Byron Murphy. Seahawks kicked off their draft with pick 16 in the first round, and they got a defensive tackle named Byron Murphy the second, Will.
Yeah.
Well, this is a guy, honestly, and a lot of people thought would be gone by our pick. I thought would be gone by our pick. We were helped out by the historic run of 14 straight offensive players to open the draft. I don't think we're going to see anything like that again for a while, but
No.
Murphy gives us something that we really have been trying to get for years. Is just a really disruptive force in the middle of the defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in college, the guy played 3 technique. He played nose tackle. He ran it for a touchdown against Washington in the Sugar Bowl. So figures we dropped a running back in the first round. But yeah, this guy was the top defensive player on Seattle's board. The kid from UCLA, Latu, who's the only one who was drafted beforehand, Sounds like we had him off our board due to his medical issues. So just getting a guy like this, I expected a trade down, and from what Schneider said, they had a lot of good offers. But if your guy's on the board, you got to take him.
Oh yeah,
and kudos to them for sticking to their board, not getting cute, and bringing in the top guy, the top defensive guy they had, and making this team better almost instantly. And he signed his rookie deal today.
He did.
You know how John Snyder feels about. You know how John Snyder feels about a guy that he thinks tilts the field. That's what he talked about with Russell Wilson, and it felt like that's kind of what he felt about this player too.
Yeah,
and I would say the draft. Well, real quick,
Lamar.
I would say the draft is kind of perfect for us because a lot of top guys were quarterbacks, a lot of top guys were tackles, and a lot of top guys were receivers. And those are three positions that we don't really need. So the draft is perfect for us, and we had a pick of who we wanted. At 16.
We really did. Brian, you picked this one.
Yep.
How'd you feel about it?
Well, I've heard this before as a saying, and I believe this with him: a bowling ball of butcher knives.
Yeah.
This guy is a wrecking ball.
Yeah.
But here's the kick, and it was actually shown to me after the Postdraft conferences. He has a dead leg. When he gets double teamed, he drops his knee to the ground and is not moved, and then breaks through the double team.
No way.
Yes.
Nice.
What does that? What do you mean by dead leg? What does that mean?
All right. So you're standing up. You got the center straight on you. You have the guard come in and hit you. He drops a knee to the ground. They can't move him. And then he busts through that double team.
Wow.
Okay.
It's
I was thinking
it's actually shown in a couple of his highlight videos. You actually have to look for it, but it's there. I've seen it several times.
Wow.
So
I was thinking a medical thing. I thought that was a problem.
I did too at first.
No, he can't be moved. When he doesn't want to be moved, it's the term that everybody uses in the defensive terminology is drops the anchor. He literally drops his leg and is not moved. He can't be bowled over. He's got enough core strength. He's got enough core upper strength where he can bust through a double team after that. So
I've heard him talk about that a little bit.
I understand the principles why they picked him because of that. He's just vicious and nasty. And tilting the field, like you said, Dustin, perfect call.
This is the one time I was telling little Mo, every year you hear him go, "Oh, this was the top guy on our draft board," and you'd say, "Yeah, whatever." I really believe that this was the top guy on their draft board that just fell to them at 16. It's the first year I actually say, I believe you when you say that. Chris, he reminded me on film, and of course, little Mo will be quick to point out that film only shows the highlights, not the lowlights. I agree.
Yep.
But he reminds me, I hate to say this, kind of a Michael Bennett. He can play anywhere. He's disruptive. He's going to shake like Will shows. No, but I got that feeling from him, Chris. Did he match up with anybody or what were your thoughts on the pick?
I thought like everyone else, I thought he was going to be long gone before we even got to him. Yes. Even at 16, I thought he was going to be gone, and that's why I had a trade back as well, thinking he's not going to be there.
Sure,
we'll trade back and we'll get someone as a decent player, but we'll also recoup some draft capital at the same time. But I'm just reading his NFL profile, and he's been compared to Ed Oliver. That his pro comparison is Ed Oliver.
That's good.
And just looking at it, he was second team All-American, Big 12, but he wasn't as flashy as his teammate.
Yes.
Was Trevonde Sweat.
Right, Sweat.
And he caused a lot more disruption, so then Sweat could almost get the glory for it. And get the sort of the sacks and everything like that. So it's he really loves the game and he really wants the team to do well. He's not really worried about sort of personal glory. He's more, I'm going to do what's right for the team and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said
and he came
said
in
as
and
much.
signed right away, which is great. What'd you say, Dustin?
He said as much in his press conference the other day when they showed his jersey number. They asked him about his goals, and he's like, "Well, first of all, I want to win games." He's like, "But paraphrasing, he's like, secondary, I want to be defensive rookie of the year." And I guarantee you, just listening to him talk, he's the kind of guy that thinks if he takes care of one thing, the other's going to happen. Yeah,
I hear his mom is entertaining too. His mom said stuff like, the Seahawks have been ripped off last couple of years for rookie of the year. That will change this year.
Oh, I did not know that.
I think she said something like that. Paraphrase her.
Yeah.
But I hear mom's
well,
kind of cool.
He grew up a Seahawk fan. He was part of that. He was part of that original Boob fan club.
No kidding. Good for him.
Yep. Yeah, he was. Good. And he was a fan because when he talks about him, he doesn't just talk about Sherm and Earl and those guys. He's talking about like Jermaine Kearse and the things he did. He was a huge Russell Wilson fan. He was a Seahawks fan. Yeah.
Very cool. I did not know that. Well, that makes him even better. Third round, we got a guard by the name of Christian Haynes, described as classy and nasty, Will.
Ooh. Well, this is a guy that I think can come in and start at right guard on day one. I mean, he played that position pretty much his whole career at UConn. Real hard hat, lunch bucket kind of guy. Did great at the Senior Bowl. Almost all our draft picks excelled at the Senior Bowl. So that and team visits are something to look at doing mock drafts. But you look at this kid and you just see day one starter written all over him. And sounded good in his first post-practice press conference today. I was impressed with that.
Good.
I think he's gonna develop into a real leader on this offensive line, which an extremely young offensive line.
Yes.
Make a big impact early.
Nice.
Well, I knew. A lot of people said going into the draft he was the best guard, as in straight guard, not tackle that moves to guard, but straight guard coming out of college. He was the best day one guard.
And I was stunned.
When you're a two-time All-American.
Yeah, he's two-time All-American, Brian. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Chris, what are your thoughts?
Like many, I think he was great value. He went right where he was predicted to go and everything like that. Which is like I said, he's a two-time All-American. He's actually started. He's got 4 years of starting experience, which is really quite good.
He does,
and so he's got lots of experience and everything. And he's hopefully with our new offensive line coach. Is it Huff? If I'm right, is it Coach Huff who's the new?
Yes,
it's Coach Huff who's the new offensive line coach, isn't he? We can really sort of grab this guy and go even further with him. But like you said, day one starter, absolutely. Let him loose on there, and he's going to be ready to go straight away.
Brian, your thoughts?
Well, like I said, two-time All-American, pancake. He loves to drop guys on the ground.
He does.
He loves that.
Sorry, I just want to say I was listening to Rob Staten's interview with the guy who runs the Senior Bowl, whose name I cannot remember.
Jim Nancy.
Thank you. And he said that sort of during the Senior Bowl practices and everything like that, if there was a disagreement between the offensive line and the defensive lines, Christian Haynes was right in the middle of it, causing havoc.
Oh yeah, he there was
in a great friendly way, but he was a real competitor, and he really wanted to show them. It wasn't a great
friendly way, trust me. He had one where the guy literally had tore his helmet off his head through it.
Yeah,
he did understand. This guy will play to the end of the whistle. He is going to be a beast.
Yeah,
I loved Cooper Beebe, and I was hoping. You like what? Dustin?
You said Cooper Beasley, I think.
Beebe.
I'll finish your thought.
Okay. Well, I like Cooper Beebe in the process, but I also looked at Christian Haynes and I thought this would be a good fit for us. But my other thoughts were we're going to try to get somebody in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Dustin,
so, what are your thoughts?
So I've actually really liked the pick after the fact. I'm not a pre-pick kind of guy. I'm definitely an after the fact and learn about him kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I've read and understand, I heard a couple of comparisons as far as getting under people's skin and talking to people. He's a little bit of a Breno Giacomini kind of guy.
Oh no!
Or you get under your skin a little bit. And then I didn't know this ahead of time, but Jim Mora is apparently one of the coaches over at UConn now.
He's the head coach.
Did not know.
Yeah. And he was talking about this player and his leadership skills and the type of person he is. And apparently he's cerebral because it's not very often that they come up with an academic award. And then when the person is still there, they name it after him. And he actually has the academic excellence award over at that college now. It's the Christian Haynes academic excellence award that they just created last season, and they named after him.
Wow!
Because he's a very cerebral dude, and he was a team captain. He's a leader.
Nice.
And
we need
what
more
I liked
of those.
about and then I think it was 2 weeks ago when we did the last podcast, and I was talking about how I liked a lot of Chris's picks because they were like leadership type picks, team captain type picks, and apparently this is a guy that fits that mold. So
perfect.
I love that.
How many times are we going to call him Phil Haynes this first year?
I will.
Oh,
I guarantee
I'm gonna do it a lot.
I guarantee I will.
Two Haynes enter, one Haynes leaves.
Yeah. So talking about him, he reminds over here in the rugby our rugby league we have a guy called Joe Marler. He's a very smart, very clever guy, but he's a complete what we call wind-up merchant. So he will deliberately get under the skin of the opposition. And he will wind them up and wind them up and wind them up so that they then make mistakes. And I wonder if he's going to be something like that.
Stir the pot.
He's going to stir the pot and everything. Like Joe will sit there and like he'll because he's a prop in the scrum. He'll sit there and he'll undo their shoelaces and stuff like that. Just little stuff, just to sort of get in their minds and stuff like that. It's
I have a whole classroom of them, but
kind of like an enforcer in hockey who just gets under people's skin, runs his mouth, gets them to. Obviously an enforcer. He's taking himself out of the game too, but he's going to engage in a fight.
He'll sit there in the middle of the scrum because he's a prop, and he'll sit there in the front row. And he'll just go like, "It's a bit dark in here, boys," and stuff like that, just to sort of break the tension a little bit, to throw them off their games. It's great.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, those were the first two picks, so let's get ready for halftime.
Holy shit! It's halftime.
All right, so we went through rounds 1 and 3. We have 6 more picks to talk about, but before we do that, it is halftime, which means it's time for America's favorite Seahawk-themed trivia game, 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia of the world. And that's coming up right after this. This is the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Don't you go change it. We'll be right back.
You are watching the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. A Seahawk Positivity production.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yes, welcome to America's favorite Seahawk-themed trivia game. I refer to 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia
of the world.
The game that challenges the posse and the people who watch this show. For those watching the show, the questions will come up on the lower left-hand screen. Go ahead and play along and let us know how you did on the questions. The contestants are the posse themselves: Will, Little Mo, the trivia winner from last week, also known as Brian, Dustin, and Chris. Here's how the game is played. There are 2 rounds of questions. Each of them get 1 question per round, and if they get it right, they get a point. And then there's a special final question worth 2 points. Whoever's closest to the number on the final question gets 2 points. And if there's a tie, we'll go to double secret probation overtime question, where the winner will be crowned 12-man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia champion of the world. So, and by the way, you can take one wrong answer away once you're in the first 2 rounds. So, our trivia champion, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, champ.
I'll take Warren Moon.
All right. Will.
I like his name change down there, the trivia winner.
Yeah. 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'll take 2.
Little Mo.
3,
4, 5.
3. That's wide.
Chris.
4.
And 5 goes to Dustin.
What's his new saying going to be?
I
By
want
the
the
way,
ball on
for
the
Steelers?
score.
I wonder.
Oh, that's
Steal mine.
The topic is your draft picks. That's all you need to know. And of course, one question is kind of a little different. All right, Brian.
Yep.
About Byron Murphy. We talked earlier, he had a touchdown run against Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you have a touchdown catch against? Oklahoma, Washington, or Wyoming? Touchdown catch.
Oklahoma.
I think it was Oklahoma.
Are you going to go Oklahoma?
I'm going to go Oklahoma.
Oh,
When was
Oklahoma.
down?
And it's Wyoming. Sorry.
Would have been sick if it was against Oklahoma, though.
Apparently, he has some
That'll be
decent
cool.
hands.
Yeah.
He was a running back. He was a
I
linebacker.
watched the touchdown earlier, and yeah, he does have some good hands.
He does. Will.
Whack.
Our third round pick went to UConn.
Yes, he did.
How many presidents have visited the UConn campus? 1, 2, or 3?
What?
How many presidents of the United States, as presidents, have visited the UConn campus? 1, 2,
No,
or
I heard
3?
what you said. It's just a stupid question.
Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while since I saw a president of the United States video. I think they had 3.
I like Peaches. Peaches is my
I like
favorite.
Peaches. I like Kitty.
Yeah.
Kitty was good.
Take one down and pass it around, Moses.
All right. It's either 2 or 3.
I will go with 3.
He will go with 3. Just 2 of them. Clinton and Biden. All right.
There's these people that went to UConn? Or did
No,
you
they
visit?
visited the campus while president.
why?
They stopped by the campus.
Like they were there at some point.
Yeah.
Why?
Little
Had to deal
Mo.
with Secret Service. They're a pain in the ass. I tell you what.
Lil Mo. What
Yeah.
position in the 2024 NFL draft had the most picks overall? Was it quarterback, offensive tackle, or wide receiver?
Oh, man.
Hunter.
Not punter.
Oof. Take one away.
It's either wide receiver or cornerback.
Ooh, Muffin. I'm going to go wide receiver.
Ooh, muffin.
Muffin.
Cornerback by
Son
1.
of a foot.
Okay. So we're scoreless so far. Chris,
Yes.
our
Can't do any worse.
no, I think it was our 4th round pick, Tyrese Knight. What state was he born in? Florida, Oklahoma, or Texas?
Good one for
Take
you,
one
yeah.
away.
I'm sorry, Chris.
Take one away, please.
Oh, Florida or Texas?
I'll go Texas.
Nope, Florida. Dustin,
Should
your
have guessed
only
B.
hope.
Oh,
I hope he-
damn it.
We,
Sorry,
Our-
sorry.
our tight end, AJ Barner, that we picked. He went to Michigan. Where did he go before Michigan? Did he go to
The
Central
mall.
Michigan, Indiana, or Ohio?
Ooh.
Hey, man, I was reading about him earlier, and I knew this. And
He went to Ohio to Michigan. That'd be messed up.
That's not Ohio State. That's Ohio University.
I know, but still.
I feel
Somewhere
like he's trying to throw me off.
Right.
I'm just going to say Ohio because, screw you, Limo.
Yeah.
I don't know the
I'll
answer.
bring-
I just said it.
You know, it's Indiana, so it don't matter.
Dang it.
Ah,
Dang it.
Well,
Love you, Lomo.
it's a dumb off so far. We're at 0
woohoo!
points across the board.
We are the worst.
All right,
We
Brian.
are the worst.
Last week.
SMRT.
Brian, 6 to 10.
Norm Johnson.
Norman.
The
What number is
sheriff.
it?
9.
Golly.
Chris.
I'm sorry.
6, 7, 8, 10.
Lucky.
What'd you say?
Lucky number
Lucky.
7.
No, lucky number 7.
Yeah.
Dustin. 6, 8, 10.
Yes. 6. I'm just
Will,
watching
8 or
the
10?
I'm watching the Mariners collapse. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Matty
more
Hass.
things going on. What's up, Will?
Matty Hass, please.
Oh, Matty Hass. And that means that number 10, Jim Zorn.
Yeah. I
goes to
don't have a
Willow.
number for that one.
Jim Zorn.
It's Jim Zorn.
Jim Zorn. That guy. Yeah, sure.
All right, here we go. Dustin.
Yeah.
What college conference had the most round 1 picks this year? Big 10, Pac-12, or SEC?
Ooh.
There was a lot of Huskies. I'm going to say Pac-12.
But said round 1.
Huskies. Not enough, though. Close.
Ah.
SEC, but not by much. Yeah.
All
Yeah,
in doubt, always go SEC.
Nobody else, hardly.
Nobody else, hardly. Chris, how many interceptions did Nehemiah Pritchett have at Auburn? 1, 2, or 3?
What the hell is that?
1.
That would be our 5th round pick.
A 5th round pick,
Oh,
thank
sick.
you. 2.
Not Mia Khalifa like you're thinking, Lil Mo.
Will.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, including Sataona Lumea.
Yeah.
Including him. How many kids did his parents have? How many children in the family, including him? 8, 9, or 10?
I think he said in his interview he was the 7th of 8 kids and the youngest boy.
Okay.
So that's it.
He's missing a couple.
Oh.
Yeah.
Those two don't count.
It's got to be hard to keep track, you know.
It is, I'm
is.
sure. I'm sure.
Math. I get it. Math.
Brian.
The two he didn't say he hated anyway, so.
DJ James played at Auburn, but before Auburn, where did he come from? Alabama, Oklahoma, or Oregon?
Take one away.
Alabama. It's either Oklahoma or Oregon.
Oregon.
He's on the board.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yay! All right, little Mo.
Yes.
It's ironic you get this because I accidentally slipped this out today. We were talking about draft picks, and I thought, oh God, that's a question. I wonder if you paid attention. Here it is.
Probably not.
Our last pick came from the University of Findlay. In what state is the University of Findlay located? Illinois, Indiana, or Ohio. I said it today and went, I should have said that.
I don't remember anything you said.
I know. You never hear anything I say.
Ohio.
Kids don't ever listen. But you did.
I didn't. I just guessed.
I know.
Findlay, Ohio, birthplace of Ben Roethlisberger, and where our group accidentally ended up staying when we flew out for Super Bowl 40 against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes. And I believe that's where I was snowbound the night of.
One of my good friends, as an autism mom, lives in Findlay, and I visited her a couple times.
How about that? All right,
Little Mo and Brian. I thought Findlay was a country.
No,
I did too.
It's
I was thinking Finland. I was super confused about that when I first heard about it. I was like, "What does that have to do with Finland to the Seahawks?"
Little Mo and Brian have a point. Will, Chris, and Dustin do not worry, my friends, because it's time for the final question. Question. All right, final question. 2 points. It's a number. The close without going over.
26.
We'll get the answer. We'll get the 2 points and be crowned halftime trivia champion of 1202. The order will be Chris, Dustin, Will, Little Mo, and Brian. And here is your question. How many offensive players were drafted overall in the 2024 NFL draft? Right. Chris, sorry. Is the answer up on your wall?
No. I'm trying to think how many picks there are in the draft.
That's what I was trying to think too.
Yeah.
Math.
It's do something.
I don't do math.
He's doing math.
100 171.
171, Dustin.
That sounds like a thing that somebody said.
Indeed.
Yo.
I don't know, 172?
172. Will.
What a jerk.
Well,
Right.
let's see. Out of the 257 total picks,
Of course
Oh,
not.
no.
my
Okay.
God.
Yeah, so we sucked. Okay.
I'm feeling a little thirsty. Let's go 151.
Will went 151. Brian. Lomo, sorry. Lomo. Lomo.
Well, Will is always really close. He's always like a couple over or a little bit less. So I'm gonna go 152.
151, 152, 171, 172, Brian.
Just do it.
1.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Price is righted.
That's the right answer.
All right.
My actual thought is it's going to be about 140. There were 3 special teamers. If you divide it into that, you got 250, 125, 130. Plus the run. Yeah. So I'm just going to say 1, but I'm thinking
Dustin's
140.
head's exploding over there.
Yeah, no doubt. Dustin's loving this. How many offensive players were drafted in the 2024 NFL draft? 133. Brian, once again, you are the 12-man fan
Get
jam
this guy
show
out of here.
champion. Congratulations, Brian. Twice in a row.
Get him out of here.
Yeah, I know.
Need Matty back.
The winner continues to win.
Say again? I'll do my happy dance.
We're
Dude,
just
it's
saying
happy day.
congratulations. Yeah.
We're saying congratulations, man. Well done. Well played, everyone. By the way, overtime, 120 defensive players, and I think 4 special teams. So, but anyway,
from Iowa, though.
yeah. But this has been another heart-pounding, heart-wrenching, stomach-churning, knee-flexing,
Vomit-inducing
octopus pink eye edition
Pink eye edition
of your 12-man fan jam show.
Albert Einstein
edition of your 12-man fan jam show halftime trivia. I don't know, Dustin. I don't know anymore. We'll be back in the second half right after this.
Albert Einstein? How does that even
my-
make sense into the
Pops my
context
brain,
of what we're
baby.
saying?
You are watching the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a Seahawk Positivity production.
If there's a better use for the internet, I haven't found it.
Holy shit, it's the third quarter!
Guys, welcome to the second half of your 12-man fan jam show. Not the second round. That's Will, that's Little Mo, that's Dustin, that's Chris, that's the 2-time trivia winner, also known as Brian, who has won 2 in a row. Congratulations again, Brian.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pretty sure he cheated.
Yeah, he did.
I watched too much Price is Right.
Exactly. Well, let's get back into the picks, and we'll start with the 4th round. Fourth round pick 118, one of Dustin's favorite because it's his last name, Tyrese Knight, linebacker from UTEP. Will.
Well, a lot of people had Dustin's nephew going a lot later in the draft, but
looks just like him, actually.
Noted all of them are taller than me.
I think the Seahawks came into the third day of the draft with 2 guys. It's like, we got 2 guys we want to make sure we don't leave with. Let's just draft him in the 4th round, and why not?
Yeah.
With Knight, he's a 3-year starter and didn't get hurt, tackling machine.
Yeah.
Needs some refinement of his game. I mean, needs some work in pass protection, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of high energy guy, hard hitter. It's just big guy for his position. I think Coach McDonald said that they had him. We're going to start him off at will, I think, but so to speak. But yeah,
clean your house.
I think he'll get playing time early on special teams, and I think he's potential to be a fan favorite on special teams, but it's like, can he develop into a full-time linebacker? We shall see.
Yeah, I see a lot of speed with him, Brian.
Yeah, really good. The one thing that I am impressed with when I actually watched his tape, he's great in the wash. So, I mean, he's going to be a good run defender. He's going to be able to get to his spots.
Mm-hmm.
Instinctive. He's like Will said, he's going to need a refinement in his pass pro. But other than that, the only other thing I say is, Dustin, you should have named him White.
All right.
Chris, your thoughts?
I saw him get the top 30 interview with the Seahawks. They brought him in and everything, which was really good. And I listened to the John Schneider show that they do with on Seattle Sports Radio.
Leading up to the draft on 7.
No, this one. Yeah. The one they did one. There was one yesterday where actually they had John and Coach McDonald on.
Yeah, they have one afterwards. Yeah. Same series.
And they were asking, and they were sort of saying about, a lot of people have been saying that this was a bit of a reach. What do you think and everything? And he's like, well, we don't really pay attention to them because obviously in the past people have said we've reached for players and they've turned out to be absolute slam dunks.
2012 draft.
Yeah, 2012 draft. But his recognition of the game and everything like that is supposed to be quite good. And he's sort of very instinctive about what he goes and does and fills gaps and stuff like that. So I think he'll sort of probably be more of a run stuffing linebacker to sort of really shut it down. Yeah. But considering, I believe last year we were 31st in run defense, if I remember rightly. So I wonder if that's what they're doing. They're just going to seal up everything. Literally,
he looks good in traffic. He looks good in traffic. He can shed real quick. So
and he's a minor too. So
he's a minor. So
thank you,
Tyrese Knight. Next, fourth round pick, AJ Barner, tight end from Michigan. Will.
This guy reminds me an awful lot of Will Dissly in that coming out, you look at his specs and it's like superb run blocker, which is another thing we need help with. So I could see him getting some time right away. Pretty good pass blocker. Still needs to work on that part of his game a little bit. You know what? Not really known for his receiving skills. Hi, April.
Hi, April.
Never really got much of a chance to be showcased as a receiver. So, when Dissly came out, everyone said, just a blocking tight end. And then all of a sudden he was catching passes and making plays in the pass.
Right.
I could really see something similar for Barner because we haven't seen much of him as a pass catcher yet, but that doesn't mean he can't do it.
And at Michigan, they didn't throw the ball much. So
right.
That's
April
true.
Looks like my cat. If my cat used the Aquanet, hold on a second. Let me go find my cat.
Lil Mo, your thoughts on this pick?
I got thoughts. I just wanted to say that.
Okay. I want to throw this out before I turn it over to Chris and Brian. I found something online that he had 36 missed tackles forced since 2021, second in college only to a guy named Bowers. So that's kind of interesting that he seems to be able to shake tacklers.
He does. I will say, I guess my little thought is he really does remind me of a Will Dissly replacement.
Yeah. And we need a tight end, Chris, right?
We do need a tight end. And I'll talk about the other one when it comes up in the next section as well. But he was a captain in Indiana as well in 2022. And he played in all 15 games with 8 starts for Michigan as well. So he's a decent player, like everyone said. Is it going to be another Will Dissly replacement? Most likely, but Uncle Will did great for us for a few years, which was quite good. So.
Dustin, real quick, we didn't get to catch the name of the cat.
Wicket. Yeah, and so that's a Star Wars reference. Wicket is the name of the Ewok that found Leia on Endor. So
of course,
Do with that what
Played
you
by
will.
We all
Warwick
know
Davis.
that. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
What are we,
Yeah.
idiots? Hey,
Right.
Brian. What are your thoughts on AJ Barner?
This was actually a pick where I lost my freaking mind and almost destroyed a 60-inch TV.
Oh, why is that?
I did not like the pick at all. I felt as if we needed a 2 and not a 3 tight end.
Right.
I thought that we needed someone like a Cade Stover who went 3 picks behind, other than somebody who's going to come in as a 3 and then maybe work into a 2.
Okay.
I was not happy with this one at all.
All right. Well, let's see if you're happy with the next one.
Okay.
Which is Nehemiah Pritchett. Nehemiah Pritchett. Will? Nehemiah?
Probably my favorite pick of day 3. I mean, he's a tall, a big, rangy cornerback. He's got enough size where he can bully receivers underneath. Kind of reminds me a little bit. This is putting an awful lot of pressure on the kid, or it would if he was watching this. But kind of reminds me a little bit of another tall, rangy cornerback that we drafted in the 5th round back in the day.
Trey Flowers.
Exactly.
Kelly Jennings.
I like
Kelly Jennings was like 4'9".
He needs to work on run support a little bit, be a bit more of a consistent tackler, but good pass protector, can do press coverage. Yeah, I like this kid.
I like the way he knocked down passes without putting that hand on the back. Like he reached around front and didn't have to use that back for leverage, which is where you get usually the calls, where he kind of turned his body. I kind of like the way he did that and looked really good against the big boys like your Alabamas and stuff like that. What about you, Brian?
I like the pick when it came through. Rangy, not as much speed as you'd want at cornerback, but he'll definitely be a boundary corner. I don't see him being able to go inside at all, which is coming up in our next cornerbacks position.
Right.
So
that's easier, folks.
But it's when I talked about the draft, this is one of those picks that's going to get money off our books next year. He's going to stick and stay, and someone's going to leave like a Michael Jackson or an Artie Burns because of it.
Quite possible, Chris.
No real thoughts on this one because I was fast asleep at this point when these picks were coming.
I can imagine. Dustin?
I was surprised that we actually took 2 cornerbacks late in the draft like this. I kind of like that they're from the same place because they obviously work together. I don't know what their system, if it's similar to what the Seahawks do, but was that?
Nope.
Oh, sorry. I didn't feel like that was a position group that we needed to reinforce a lot. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Yeah. But if they're the best athletes at that point and the guys that work for us the best, let's do it. I mean,
well, I have a theory about that, but I'm going to save it until we get the second defensive back. But I do have a theory as to why we picked 2 defensive backs, and I'll bring it out.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, a lot of what we've done this year is new to us. Right. So we have no idea what the plan is.
Exactly.
What they're looking for.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with everything right now because I don't know what to expect
where we're
or what
going.
to think.
Yeah, I agree with you. And we're going to talk about, I have a theory as to why we have defensive backs. But we'll go to that here in a minute. Let's go ahead and end the third quarter.
That's the end of the third quarter, bitches.
All right, we've got 3 more picks and the undrafted free agents left. We are being invaded by animals. April, you big sweet 8.
So happy to be there.
And so happy to be there. We're all happy to be here. It's 12-Man Fan Jam show. We are putting the Fan Jam into the 12-Man Fan Jam. And we'll be right back right after this.
Are we putting the lime in the coconut?
Mix it all around.
You are watching the 12-Man Fan Jam show, a Seahawk Positivity production.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
It's the fourth quarter, bitches!
Hello, everyone. It is I, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity, host and producer of the 12-Man Fan Jam show. Every night on Friday nights, we record this show, and then on Saturday mornings, I put it together and I piece our little meetings together from this program, and I slice together the show. When I came upon episode 1202, it appeared that someone had forgotten not only English, but also forgotten to record the fourth quarter. So since there's no way to bring everybody back, I will go ahead and give you what I remember in the fourth quarter. Okay, we talked about this young man to start the sixth round pick. I asked Dustin to pronounce the name, and of course he declined. In fact, no one really wanted to pronounce his name, but we did decide that he had the lineman body, and he was a raw project. But at sixth round, that's what you get as a raw project over the most part. But we were overall pretty happy with this pick. And to get the sixth, seventh round, you're just picking projects, and people with a high, ceiling. He seems to be that kind of person. It was mentioned that he will probably move to guard. He's good getting off the line and things like that. When we went to the next pick, DJ James, I then explained my theory on why we have so many defensive backs, which was a possibility that maybe we have so many defensive backs because Tariq Woolen, who had an off year last year, that maybe Tariq Woolen was a Pete Carroll project, and that McDonald wasn't looking to have a Pete Carroll project, and that if Woolen didn't play better this year, that he would probably get rid of him. Someone else mentioned that I think we have only 2 defensive backs under contract next year. So that's another reason maybe that we have more than one defensive back. We talked a little bit about it. We made fun of DJ's name, DJ James, and said now that DJ Dallas is gone, we've got another DJ. So we're happy about that. As far as the player, we mentioned it, a lot of talent, again, high upside, very coachable, seems like a good guy. Michael Gerald from Findlay, Ohio College. Actually, somebody mentioned he was actually a captain and leader. He has great leadership qualities, probably will play guard for us. Very raw, but went to the Senior Bowl, went to the Hula Bowl, and as a Division II player, and went against Division I players and looked very good. Was actually so good that Ohio State, I think last year, someone said Ohio State or some major college had recruited him, and he said, "No, I'm finishing my year with Findlay. They're the ones who believed in me or whatever, and I'm going to finish my year here," which is pretty respectable. Again, big off the chart leadership on this guy, and everyone talked about how how impressive he was, even though he's in Division II. So again, at this point, you're pick 207. There's a lot of pressure on you. So hopefully he can turn into a diamond in the rough for us. And then we went to the undrafted free agents. A lot of people like to talk about Jack Westover from Washington. Dustin liked this pick, and Will did too. They'd seen him. They liked the way he played. Chris Baldy mentioned him as well, as did Brian. Little Mo watched the Reds game. The Reds lost. I mentioned that my 3 favorite players here were Nelson Caesar, because if he makes a team and he tackles somebody, we can say, "Hey, old Caesar." I mentioned that San Jose's quarterback, Chevin Cordero, when I was in high school, I drove a Chevin Cordero, so I was excited about that. And finally, my favorite name on all of them was Ro Torrance, because if he'd be tackled by Mr. Torrance, which was a Shining reference to the movie Shining, which I don't think anybody got, but that's all right. And then at the end, I said, "Hey, normal sign off. This is your self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church Seahawk Positivity, saying until next time, as always, go Hawks." And we signed off. I apologize to the rest of the posse for not recording the fourth quarter, but you know, that happens every once in a while. We're not professionals. I don't know if you picked that up yet. And so on behalf of the posse who was here, we'd like to thank Brian McCauley for coming on with his son Matthew. We had Chris Balding, who had to go to work in 6 hours, and it was 3 a.m. where he was, but he stayed up late for the show. Justin was there with his cat Wicked, and of course Kona, our 12-man Fan Jam Show mascot. Will was there with April. April made a couple of appearances, of course, April the cat, and of course my son Little Mo, who had Dude, the little dog Dude, who also made an appearance. So on behalf of everyone from this show, this is your self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church Seahawk Positivity, saying I apologize again to those gentlemen for not recording the fourth quarter, and we'll try to be more careful. I'll try to be more careful in the future, and until then, we'll keep doing it until we get it right. And as always, go Hawks, y'all. Now, where did I put my keys?